Aliens is the 1986 sequel to Alien from 1979. It's a good sequel, but maybe not the best sequel. Because of how successful Alien was as a horror film, director James Cameron opted for the sequel to feel more like an action film. Rather than having the main characters be defenseless, regular people, the main characters are now all soldiers with guns. But despite this, I never really felt as though the tone was all that different. Like the first film, the first half transpires pretty slowly, giving the audience a chance to get to know the characters, while the second half is a lot of action. But the similarities in tone really weren't what made this movie a problem for me. It was more the similarities between the two stories.
I don't believe this. You guys throw me at the wolves, and now you want me to go back out there?
Here we go again. This was the first major issue for me. Ripley, the only surviving character from the first movie, is unfrozen after 57 years of hibernation and loses her job because no one believes her story about the alien. Then, as soon as there's trouble in a space colony, she gets asked to go back to space with the military and serve as some kind of advisor to them? This is dumb. How is Ripley supposed to help the military at all on this mission? What can she possibly tell them that wasn't in the written deposition that we already saw her give? And furthermore, after her horrific ordeal from the first movie, why would Ripley ever want to go to space again? It just doesn't make sense to me. Ripley is not a soldier, she's a glorified truck driver. What is she even doing there? So now we meet the soldiers. They're just a bunch of regular guys with lots and lots of playful banter. In fact, they remind me a lot of those other regular guys with playful banter from the first movie. This is where I think the main problem with this movie becomes evident. I already feel like I know that this mission isn't going to go well. And I already feel like I know that all of these guys are going to be dead by the end of the movie. The first Alien movie had so many surprises in store for the audience. We didn't know what the alien could do, and we didn't know who was going to survive. Here we see that these Marines are just a bunch of boneheads. Does anyone have any doubt that Ripley will outlive them? So they land on the planet, walk around for a bit, and soon enough, it's game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man. It's game over.
The team tries to retreat back to their ship, but one of the aliens gets on the ship and causes them to crash. Now the team is temporarily marooned on the alien planet with only a few weapons to protect them. And to complicate the matter further, the only survivor of the colony is a little girl whose life is now in their hands. She tells them that they have to find cover from the aliens before it gets late, since apparently they mostly come at night. Mostly.
And they mostly come at night. Mostly.
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
So now we're back in the same situation as before. It's basically the same movie as the first one, but on a much grander scale. They're not trapped on a spaceship anymore, they're trapped on an alien world. And there's not just one alien, there's a whole army of aliens. And Sigourney Weaver isn't going to risk her life to go back and save a cat, she's going to risk her life to go back and save an actual human girl. Everything is the same except bigger. But still, this sort of scenario just doesn't have the same impact that it did the first time around.
Stop. Not so fast, y'all. You think you can just up and run away? You crazy. I like to eat people from other planets, especially y'all.
I like to eat you with my little mouth, too.
Oh, now y'all get back up inside me, little mouth.
I want to play, too.
We will never feel the same suspense that we felt when we had to see that first alien for that first time. The alien from the first film just seemed so unstoppable. It alone caused so much destruction and mayhem, and we never really understood how it could become so powerful so quickly. It almost feels like sort of a letdown to me in this movie when we see the soldiers killing aliens left and right with guns and flamethrowers. I guess all that first crew needed was just a little fire, so then maybe Ripley didn't have to blow up the ship. And is it just me, or do not enough people get sprayed with acid in this movie? The first movie established that the alien's blood is a powerful acid that can tear through anything. You'd think with all the fire from all these guns at all these aliens, there'd just be acid spraying all over the place. These soldiers really need to be more careful. They seem to be treating the acid as more of an occasional nuisance rather than a huge tactical disadvantage. Some of the best scenes in this movie are the scenes where the characters have to deal with the face huggers. In the first movie, there was only one alien and only one face hugger. When that one guy got that alien stuck on his face, it was really weird, but it wasn't particularly suspenseful because, at the time, we didn't know what the consequences of having an alien stuck to your face were. But now we do! Blah! So this movie wisely uses the audience's prior knowledge of the last movie to their advantage, while they leave us in suspense as to whether or not our main characters can avoid getting an alien on their face. Oh no! Look out! Get it, get it, get it! Oh, okay. Good. But as for the fully grown aliens, I don't know. There was just too many of them. There were a few times toward the end of the movie where I kept thinking that this was going to be the climax, but then it wasn't. She gets away and runs into a different alien. To me, it sort of undercuts the scariness of the first movie that Ripley is able to escape from so many aliens this time around. I do like the part where she fights the alien using her robot suit, though. It's a little Avatar-esque, but it just seems less silly when this movie does it. Aliens isn't by any means a bad movie. It's actually a really fun movie. Like any sequel, it's always going to have a hard time living up to the reputation of the first one, and that's okay. The aliens in this movie certainly look a lot better than the alien from the first one. James Cameron actually took time to explain this, saying that the alien from the first movie just wasn't fully grown yet. That was nice of him. But still, to me, this movie never fell into the category of sequels that exceed the quality of their predecessors. You'll definitely like it if you liked Alien, but just don't expect it to be that different from what you've seen before. It is mostly good. Mostly.
I like to eat you with my little mouth, too.